Hello everyone, my name is Jana Wood, and for my presentation I decided to evaluate a private practice. Before I get into the actual private practice that I evaluated, I wanted to show you guys a short video. This is basically an interview of Dr. Larry Waldman. He gives us a lot of really good tips on private practice and how we can market ourselves and things like that. I'm going to go ahead and get this video started. Sorry about this, I'm not quite sure why it's not playing. It played a few minutes ago. Here we go.
Hi everybody, this is Ernesto from Filmit.com. Filmit.com is dedicated to helping mental health professionals develop
Sorry guys.
a web-based presence. I am so delighted today to speak with the writer of this book, Graduate Course You Never Had. You know, Dr. Larry Waldman here, he wrote this book for people who are thinking of going into private practice. You know, when I deal with a lot of students who say that they want to go into private practice, they get a shock on what it entails for private practice. And I wanted to interview Dr. Waldman to give us an idea of what private practice will look like. So, Dr. Waldman, welcome.
Yes, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Good, good. Well, tell us a little bit about this book and what inspired you to write this book, The Graduate Course You Never Had.
Well, I had been doing seminars on the topic of practice development and management for a number of years, basically through the Charter Hospital Network. I was the Director of Psychological Services on a consulting basis for the Charter Hospital Glendale from 1988 till 2000. And I basically went around the country to other charter psychiatric hospitals doing workshops for school districts and for laypersons, but also for other mental health professionals on the development and management and marketing of their practice. And after doing that for, about 10 years or so, I decided I probably ought to put it into a book. And thus I gave birth to, if you will, the Graduate Course You Never Had.
And so coming across your book was really refreshing to me, just because a lot of the things that I wanted to do in my private practice, I wanted to be more meaningful. I wanted it to really reflect who I am as a therapist. And you know, the first stages of my private practice wasn't easy. Could you speak a little bit to the reality of private practice in the mental health field?
Sure. Well, to begin with, as you said, it typically takes a lot of work to get started. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen immediately, and it takes a lot of effort. In fact, I talk a lot about this topic, and one of the things I point out is that for most people starting out in private practice, you need to spend more time out of your office than in it, in trying to market it, let people know that you're there.
Absolutely.
Let people know what kinds of services you offer.
Absolutely. You know, some of the things that I come across with some of the questions that students have for me is, you know, private practice is not only fulfilling, but there's a lot of hard work to it. There's a section in your book, again, the Graduate Course You Never Had. You'd speak to the idea that, or you ask the question, is private practice right for you? Could you elaborate on that and try to enlighten us or licensed therapists who are starting off as a private practitioner?
Sure, of course. When you have your own practice, you can't assume that everything is going to be working in proper fashion.
Absolutely.
Again, if the secretary calls in sick, if the fax machine stops working, if the copy machine goes on the fritz, and so forth, all that is on you to make it right. You have to be very organized about getting your notes done on time, getting your paperwork done. Frankly, I know lots of therapists who are excellent clinicians, but frankly never made it in private practice.
So what I'm hearing from you, Dr. Walden, is that a good clinician, one who is in private practice, needs to understand the value of hard work and how to get their clients. And you're saying that you lose a lot of sleep when you go to that whole process of getting your private practice along the way. Am I correct?
Absolutely. You have to be prepared to work hard, and the job doesn't stop when you get home. In fact, just this evening, I brought home 2 folders that I'll be working on at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Wow.
You also have to be entrepreneurial. You have to be always thinking about ways to enhance your business, find another way to market yourself effectively, and things like that. Also, you need to be flexible. Frankly, you're dealing with the public, and sometimes people are going to disappoint you. They're not going to show up. You're going to struggle with payments sometimes.
Right.
And all of that is encompassed in private practice.
Yes, absolutely. You know, some of the things that I noticed in my journey as a private practitioner, there's a lot of things that I never thought I'd have to do, like making phone calls, meeting, getting clients. And you mentioned in the book that you have to hustle your clients, or that, you know, you have to market yourself on a consistent basis, or else they're not going to come. I think a lot of new clinicians think that when they get their master's degree or their license, that it'll just carry them throughout their practice and the clients are going to come in droves, right? But the reality is we have to consistently market ourselves, and also market ourselves in very creative ways. What makes a good clinician and a successful clinician in private practice?
Well, frankly, I believe it's marketing. I'm assuming, of course, that the clinician has some basic skills, but the truth of the matter is, you could be the best therapist in the county, but if no one else knows who you are or where you are, it's just going to be you waiting for the telephone to ring. So to be truly effective and successful in practice, you're going to have to market yourself, and that you are an effective therapist.
Awesome. And I do want to say again, this is Dr. Larry Waldman, who wrote the book, The Graduate Course You Never Had. Again, I really, really encourage all of you to pick this up. The reason why, as well, is that at the end of every single chapter, it gives you action steps, and it gives you accountability on what you're going to do next in your ways to market yourself and to make your private practice as healthy as possible. Again, the book is A Graduate Course You Never Had, and this is Dr. Larry Waldman. Dr. Waldman, also speak to the idea of creative marketing. From your perspective, what do you see as creative marketing?
Well, there's a number of things. I like, for example, thinking big, if you will. Instead of simply knocking on individual doors of potential referral sources, what I like to do is to think about, where do my referral sources gather? How can I speak to or meet a bunch of them at one time? So, for example, a couple of months ago, I and another attorney did a workshop for personal injury attorneys here in Phoenix. There were 45 attorneys in the audience, and I did a seminar on recognizing and managing post-traumatic stress disorder in the personal injury client. So instead of knocking on 45 individual doors, I was able to speak
Get them all in one room.
all in one room, exactly. Not to mention, of course, I love speaking as a marketing tool because when you are up in front, you are automatically designated as the expert.
Absolutely.
And in fact, I just today, so help me, I received another call from another attorney referring two more clients to me. So that workshop is paying off big time.
Absolutely. You know, and to just echo your point, I think getting up in front of people, doing speaking engagements with other professionals within not only just your field, right, but also teachers, pastors, lawyers, social workers, nurses, all those people that will most likely refer to you. And you're right, being up there on stage and really doing this, you become the expert in the room. And that's when you can get referrals as well too. And I really do appreciate you saying that because I think that is first and foremost in marketing yourself, going out there and actually really teaching classes and doing seminars to get those clients.
Absolutely. Along those lines, I like writing articles. I've been making a real push to write articles in the last 9 months or so, and I can't tell you the impact that it's had on my practice. So articles are an excellent way to go and getting them published in the local media. In fact, one of the sources I use is my own health club. They put out a monthly newsletter and they excerpt my articles on the back page. I can't tell you how many clients I've received just through that.
Wow. And another point too, I think for those of you private practitioners out there that cannot get an articles to be published to a major publishing company or organization or whatever, you can also do blogs. I think the internet has made it possible. You've got WordPress, you've got Blogger to make it possible for all of us to get our pieces out there and some of your articles and your writing as well.
Exactly, and I have a blog going as well, and I've gotten a number of referrals and actually interesting opportunities that way.
Absolutely. Again, for all of you who are listening, this is Dr. Larry Waldman. The book is The Graduate Course You Never Had. I really recommend that you pick it up if you are thinking and actually in your process of being a private practitioner. The other thing that I do want to mention is Dr. Larry and I are planning on a seminar in the summer. And this will be a two-part series where I talk about the marketing piece, the video marketing, and how to be to have a very powerful online presence. And Dr. Larry Waldman will be speaking to the managed care part of private practice, and you will know everything that he mentioned in this book on how to have a successful private practice. Doctor, thank you so much for this time. I look forward to speaking with you again, and I'm sure there will be times where we will do this again so that we can get your name out there and your book out there as well.
Well, thank you, and I look forward to promoting our summer workshop again.
Great. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.
So long. Goodbye.
As you can see from Dr. Waldman, he takes big stock in workshops and seminars and blogs. Those are things that, I go to workshops, but I've never thought about actually presenting at them. And I think that would help us to get our name out there in the world of counseling. I think that can do tremendous things for referrals. You can add these things to resumes, letting them know that you're a presenter. Writing blogs, that's something that actually Kyler Robbins, I went ahead and went to this slide. I interviewed Kyler Robbins with Kyler Robbins Counseling. He is a dear friend of mine from way back when. We went through a counseling program together, and Kyler went through the mental health aspect, whereas I went through the school counseling aspect. But Kyler mentioned when I was talking to him that blogs and writing articles are something that he does on a regular basis to get his name out there, and he has said that it is extremely helpful. Um, just a little bit about Kyler. He lives in Waynesville, North Carolina, has been an LPC for 10 years, and has been in private practice for the past 7 years. He is certified as NCC, LPC, and works primarily in the area of substance abuse. As far as getting started in private practice, Kyler helped lead another local therapist in a DUI group. This therapist offered Kyler the opportunity to use her office one time a week with a client that she referred to see if private practice was something that Kyler wanted to do. Um, Kyler soon kind of did a needs assessment, not like a formal one or anything like that, but he did find that there were no private practice therapists that were currently taking Medicaid clients. That's huge, and so for Kyler to take notice of that really benefited his practice. Um, so he got paneled with Medicaid, and then began the process with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and added others, slowly until he was paneled with several. Slowly through the word of mouth and other private practice therapists referrals, Kyler's business grew. And Kyler actually also sends referrals to others now because he's got such a client load now, which is great. That's great news. Um, Kyler stated that he also knew that there was an untapped market for therapists trained in working with the gay, lesbian, bi, and trans population. So Kyler took advantage of that and is one of two therapists working with that population um, in the Asheville area. He states that that's a huge portion, so that's pretty awesome. Also, Kyler is one of two private practice therapists licensed as a substance abuse professional in the area also, so that definitely helps to get referrals. As far as office space, initially Kyler borrowed someone's space for a few months. Um, he also found another therapist on Craigslist that wanted to move to Greenville, South Carolina, and needed someone to pick up her lease. And Kyler, stated it was a steal. Right now, I mean, it was kind of like an offer he couldn't refuse. It is a private office in a beautiful historic house that was converted into other offices. Um, it's got its own waiting room and bathroom. So even though there are other offices in there, Kyler still has his own waiting room and bathrooms. The lease is $400 a month, and um, as you can see, one of the quotes from Kyler, it says, "I sublet my space 2 days a week to another private practice therapist. She pays me $200 a month, so my overhead is pretty low." Kyler's really getting into the business aspect of things, so I know that when I do decide to go into private practice, Kyler will be a huge resource for me. Kyler takes the standard payments for services such as cash checks, all major credit cards, money orders, mobile pay, and Square. I noticed PayPal up here. That's pretty interesting. I use PayPal a lot, but I didn't realize that it would be beneficial in a private practice. So that's pretty cool to know. As far as setting fees, Kyler uses a sliding scale system um, and bases it off of a person's hourly rate for those without insurance or those who do not want to use their insurance. Um, the requirement for a client to bring in a pay stub is necessary to be able to use the sliding scale. A letter from employer could work as proof of income as well. Kyler's standard fee for a 50-minute individual session is $120, and his fee for a new patient, 1.5 hour, is $165. And these are based on the standard rates in the Asheville, North Carolina area. Kyler also made note that when you panel with an insurance company, you agree to receive a set rate reimbursement, and this rate is set by the panel. And I remember Dr. Deshawn kind of speaking about this earlier in our semester. It is highly unethical to bill a patient if you're billing their insurance company and that is covering the sessions. You can't just double bill. That's certainly not ethical and not right, and you're definitely not going to keep clients that way. As far as scheduling appointments, Kyler goes through therapy notes. Clients are able to schedule and reschedule appointments. It also sends automatic reminders the day before appointments, and the clients can choose whether it's through text, call, or email. I think this is pretty awesome. Even though I try to write all of my appointments down, my children's appointments down, I don't get them all, or I forget where I write them. So if I get that message the day before or a couple of days before saying, hey, don't forget you got an appointment at this time, I know that helps me, because I know that there would have been appointments that I missed had I not had those reminders. So I think this is great. And Kyler actually did like a little mini research study on this, and it actually increased his on-time appointments by 40%. That is huge. Therapy notes, there is a charge associated. However, to me, not really knowing anything about therapy notes or some of the other programs out there, it seems like it's worth it. We'll talk even more about it in the next couple of slides, but I mean, to send reminders, allow it so schedules can be made is awesome. Also, therapy notes allows the therapist to know when the expiration dates are coming up and when certain forms are needed and etc. I think that's also a great aspect of therapy notes. As far as billing, Kyler obviously uses therapy notes to a degree. This is option one. There are two options. Using therapy notes, the therapist is also able to bill insurance through this program. So basically, Kyler enters the client's insurance information, and after typing notes for the therapy session, there's an option to submit to insurance. Payment is electronically submitted through a clearinghouse, and then it will automatically be deposited into the bank after it's processed. It is 20 cents a claim service. To me, this kind of seems like a no-brainer. I think, 20 cents, heck yeah, and to not have to fool with it, I would definitely do that. But I'm not in private practice. I'm not trying to save all the cents here and there, so this is a viable option. However, there are other options to save money. So Kyler's option two. To keep overhead down, Kyler also does billing for the private practice. To make this easier, the following have been put into place. Kyler has created an online account through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and a majority of other payers accepted. Kyler submits his own billing through creating a claim there, and then follows the same process of submit, waiting to get processed, and then getting direct deposit into the bank account. Um, Obviously, when you bill yourself, the cost is free. Through other services such as therapy notes, there is a cost associated. And Kyler makes his decision based on how backed up he is and if he's behind on notes, which is smart. To me, I would kind of get confused as to whether did I bill this myself? Did I send this through therapy notes? And I would just constantly have to go back and check. So I don't know if I would do two billing options. Um, on the other hand, there there are both pros and cons to either one. So I can see why Collar does both. These are all of the insurance panels that Collar is listed with. As you can see, there are some pretty common ones: Blue Cross Blue Shield, Cigna, Medicaid, United, Aetna. All of these things, they're great, and you can see that there are about 10. And so I think that's definitely what I want to strive to do when I go into private practice is, making sure that I get paneled with these insurance companies. As far as building relationships for referrals, um, there is a once a month group meeting for all private practitioners in the area that Kyle lives in. And at these meetings, they're able to stay up to date on client loads, find out if anyone is taking new referrals and things like that. They also discuss cases, any problems with private practice, new techniques, trainings going on, things like that. I think that is definitely important to stay in tune with other therapists. This is how you get referrals. You get to know other people and help them to trust you so that they will put your name out there. Collar also sends all defense attorneys in town reminder emails about once every 6 months about private practice. Who Collar is, what he offers, where he's located, things like that. Collar also has a strong working relationship with the probation officers in town. He even goes to their staff meetings once every 3 months to encourage them to refer individuals needing substance abuse treatment. And Collar said that this alone builds so many referrals for Collar. So it's really about finding that niche, about finding that area that you are good at that can benefit other people. We've got to tap into those resources. Let's go through Collar's website now. Let me see if I can get this link to work. It worked earlier. Let's see. Here we go. Here's Collar's website. One of the first things that I noticed about this website are the photos. Look how serene and peaceful this photo looks. When I first went to this website, I'm like, oh, that's so calming. And I actually commented on that, and Collar said I took those pictures myself. So that's something Collar likes to do in his own time is photography, not for pay, but just of nature and things that he likes. As you can see on the home page, you have a little bit of information about Collar, what he does, what he's credentialed in, where he went to school, things like that. Also, some of the things that he enjoys, and I think that's good for clients to see. I know I go to websites of doctors and things like that of people that I'm about to, you know, go through, and I want to read reviews. I want to look at their website. Is there anything that they're hiding? Do they offer what I need? So, I'm assuming that clients do this as well. Kyler's also got his contact information down here at the bottom. One thing also to know, two areas. Wix.com. Kyler was able to save money by creating his own website through Wix.com. And knowing Kyler, who is not the most technological person out there, it must be pretty user friendly for him to be able to do this. I mean, this is great. Kyler also lists the services provided. Substance abuse assessments, individual therapy, phone support, referrals for other treatments. Also, he makes a list of challenges that he sees people with, such as anger, anxiety, gender identity, SED, substance abuse, things like that. And as you notice, each tab will also list Kyler's contact information. Rates and insurance, it just kind of tells you about payment for services, who he is paneled through. Look at the picture again, just peaceful. Forms. I think this is great because when I do have a new appointment, I always go to the website, like I said earlier, but I also try to get that paperwork so I don't have to go in 15-20 minutes early and sit and fill in all the paperwork. I want to do it in my own time so that, you know, I just don't have to get there so early. Kyler also lists the privacy and confidentiality policy, and it lets you know that he appreciates confidentiality. He follows confidentiality ethics. However, there are exceptions, and he lists those exceptions. So that's pretty great. As far as resources, Kyler's also got, again, some lovely pictures, but also has some other resources for people out there who may want to research more. And if you want to contact Kyler, it tells you again the contact information, but also you can contact him and he will get back with you. I think, you know, as I was evaluating that website, I think he's pretty much hit everything that I would have. You know, when I go into private practice, I'm going to look at several private practice websites and kind of piggyback off what they have. Excuse me. As far as advertising, Kyler has business cards at probation offices, courthouses, defense attorneys' offices, jails. Also, he advertises through his website and www.psychology.com. And as far as some of the forms, I want to kind of take you through some of these forms. Okay, first we have our confidentiality. Kyler tells you what confidentiality is, HIPAA, things like that. And he also has a client sign that they understand their rights and responsibilities. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. So that's definitely a really good form to have. And this is actually a pamphlet that Kyler made, again discussing HIPAA, privacy rights, how to file a complaint and violations. Kyler even has like a pledge to the client. So I think that was pretty smart to do. Okay, and this is another rights as consumer form. Tells you what to do if you have questions, what you can do for disability in North Carolina, gives you contact information. And as far as informed consent, Kyler also has the client sign and a witness sign saying that they understand. what informed consent is and what Kyler expects. Okay, this is a worksheet, a locus worksheet that Kyler uses and it's very difficult to see. Let's see if I can clear that up at all. Not really, but basically it's going to give Kyler a heads up of what the problem is. And then Kyler uses this locus rating scale to find that risk of harm, whether it's low, moderate, serious, things like that. Kyler also uses this form as a financial agreement, so that they understand they either will be billed through insurance, they will be billed personally, things like that. Also for insurance declines, because some insurance you might go over your session time. And so in that case, you are responsible as a client for any bills. So Kyler just kind of tells you these things up front so that you're not caught off guard when you get a bill. Release of information, this is a necessity, especially with a lot of the clients that Kyler works with. They do have disability, and Kyler is required to fill out some of this disability paperwork. Kyler will not do that unless this form is completed by the client saying, you know, I do release my medical information. He even breaks it down. It could be financial information, it could be treatment notes, all of the above, one of the above. So I think that was pretty detailed. As far as this private practice, to be honest, I feel like Kyler's got it going on, and that is not just because he is one of my close friends. I just did not find anything that I would change. I think he's doing a great job, and client-wise, he's not hurting for anyone. So I think he's really done a really good job. He's got a big personality, and you know, everybody who meets him loves him. So there's no wonder that he's got such a high client load. He is going to be a huge resource for me in the future. So I'm proud to call him my friend, and I'm very proud of what he's accomplished. If you guys have any questions about any part of this presentation, or Kyler, or anything like that, feel free to email me. Let me know. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I hate that I couldn't go live for you guys. I like to do that, but this is definitely my busiest time of the year at work. So I wasn't able to, so I pre-recorded this session. But again, if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.